There we go.
Sorry, I'm allergic to STAAR and it's time. So we're going to do the 6th grade benchmark, algebra benchmark, 7th grade writing STAAR, and the 8th grade writing, math, and reading on April the 9th and April the 10th. 8th grade will test by themselves on the 10th. Everyone will be testing on the 9th. The way that I do this so that it goes quickly is that you understand that it's not that I tell you every single thing you should know, is that I tell you the important parts and that you do the rest yourself. So then that leaves the responsibility on you, and that's why I can shorten the trainings. Okay, so the manuals, I have them in my possession, but because most of us go that way afterwards, I decided to keep them and I'll put them in your box. All right, I would suggest printing this PowerPoint out if you would like, just in case when I send it to you, you can have it during testing, so if you forget something, it's there. It's your responsibility to ask questions, read the training materials, check the emails, please. Ensure that you have everything in your buckets that I put in there, and then to tell me and Mr. Crowder if there's anything wrong with your room, I'll send the link out and I'll put stuff again. And I'm waiting on those clocks, so don't think I forgot. All right, homeowners, it's your job to monitor, not just to sit. Not saying you cannot sit, not saying that you cannot, you're able to read in the hallway. However, you're not supposed to be sitting there. It needs to be like a 60-40 split between monitoring and having the seat. Okay? There's the monitors for those who are paras. The only thing that I need parents to know is that you never go in a testing room. If you can do that, then your training is over. Okay? So don't go in the testing room, get someone certified, and we'll be just fine. Raise your hand if you agree. Okay, now you can leave.
I agree.
Well, now, for those of you that raise your hand here, there's some stipulations on being a para. Would you like to go? Then how was that? Thank you. All right. So, testing administrators, monitor, please walk. As a monitor, I'm not saying that you can't sit either, but not behind your desk. There has to be something where you're in the front of the room at a higher level so that you can scan if you're going to kind of lean or sit, but you cannot sit behind a desk. You cannot be away from the students, but you need to be monitoring. And not monitoring just around the outside, but literally through the aisle as well, and you already know that. All right, this is just quickly confidentiality and the code for how we lose our jobs if we don't do what we're supposed to do. Okay, confidentiality is everything inside of that room that's related to testing, and you can't go in there, so the only thing you would have is the test, the scantrons, and all of the STAAR 2 things that are in the life skills rooms. The administrative guidelines. The biggest thing I think I can say is turn off the phones. If we can get the phone thing handled like we did last time, we'll have no irregularities like we did last time. We did catch kids with phones. I did zero some tests out, but it had nothing to do with us as a school as a whole. All right, confirm that everybody has a Scantron that's already filled out. Everybody has a book that has their name and the book and number attached. Ensure that the right kid gets the right information, please. If they take the wrong test and I turn it in, there's nothing I can do about it. And then you're going to have to explain why they took the wrong test. 4-hour time limit, except for extended time. We do 1 hour above, and then you can do increments as you would like, but it's 1 hour over the announcements, and then every 15 minutes thereafter. Extended time people. So you don't stop a test unless someone goes to the nurse, basically. Restrooms don't count. You need to step out and sneeze and blow their nose. That stuff doesn't count. Only emergencies count as a stop documented on the city chart and on their test booklets for what time they stopped and then what time they started back. You have to make sure that they get 4 hours. All right, again, no cell phones, not even yours. There's only 2 people in this school that technically kind of sort of can have a phone on and enter a room with the phone on, and that's me and Dr. Burton. Okay, nobody else's phone should be on. If your phone goes off and the kid tells on you, that happens, they will, and you will be a part of the irregularity in that room. All right, so there is no, the student powered it off, but they kept it. There is no keeping it. If I don't give you anything out of this training, it's take the phone. Like, really make that a push, because that's probably the biggest STAAR problem, is the phone. Okay? No watches. So do an arm check and say, nobody can have a watch, including you, unless it's the one that they can't tell time on. Okay? This is going to be for the test administrator, the cell phone. So just write the student's name, write the cell phone, put them all in the bag, put the paper in the bag, put it somewhere secure, and that's it. All right, restroom monitors, they have their own form. If they take someone's phone at the restroom, they're also going to ask, where did you come from? So then you're going to be responsible for explaining how they got to the restroom with their phone. All right, if somebody bleeds on a test, shouldn't even have water, should not have water. But if they bleed on it, they throw up on it, that happens, then I will do what I have to do to make sure that they get another one. Penalties, again, you can lose your license for this, you can lose your license for this, you can use no more stay on the business, okay? All right, testing irregularities, there's two types, serious and procedural. There's things that you do out of, I hand the wrong kid the wrong scantron, and then there's things like, I was cheating. So there's a big difference, and the seriousness and the procedural ones, some of the procedural ones, they will say, that's not really an irregularity, so you're okay. And then the other ones, they'll say, no, that's serious. If you know, and it comes out that you knew of something that was not ethical or correct in terms of testing, and you did not tell, you're just as responsible as the person who did it. Tips to avoid common testing irregularities. Just ensure that you have the accurate testing rosters. The reason why is because they're in this room for 5 years. Let's say something happens and they need to come in a year later. They can know where that student was, what desk they were sitting in, and who they were sitting around. So that's the reason why. Create accurate seating charts. Verify that the students have recorded their answers. So if a student has all of it bubbled except 5, you can't say, go back and do those 5. You just have to scan and just ensure that, for the most part, they did finish the test to their capacity. If they have no answers bubbled, that's an irregularity on your part, because you're supposed to check that they bubbled. Yeah. So remember, there's no seals anymore. So there's no binding to separate math and reading, science and social studies. So if it's reading day and they're in math, I need to know, because now I have to say that their math test does not count. Okay? Allowable materials, blank paper, pencil paper, highlighters, map pencils, do not pass them out. They have to ask for these things. Simple. All right? Good testing environment, the seat is up, everybody facing the same way, having a visible clock, clean. The benchmark, nobody checked your room. The STAAR test, we will be. So just start prepping that now. All right, again, I'm going to send out the link again. If you need anything, fill it out and it will be delivered to you. The rooms need to be ready April the 5th on Friday. Dr. Vic will be letting you know if there's something wrong. And the dictionaries and calculators will be to you no later than Monday on the 8th. Okay? If you have to think about if it should be on the wall, it shouldn't be there. All right, so everybody checking in at 7:05. Everybody is checking in at 7:05. Whether you're a reliever, everyone will check in at 7:05 with Mr. Perales right here on the stage. Pick up any materials and in the bucket pick up. Tuesday, that's the bell schedule. It's going to go like it did last time. And then April the 10th, that's the bell schedule. 6th and 7th graders will be on regular bell schedule. Will the bells be on? I think we let them on last time. Okay. And so the 8th grade, we're gonna split in 2 lunches like we did last time, so on and so forth. The door, again, that's how your door should look at all times, except when you need help or restroom break or you're ready to check out. Agreed attendance people, Kay Coleman, Conte, Bolton, Perales, they're gonna be the ones that pick up attendance sheets. So take attendance, put it on the door. What I forgot to add to this PowerPoint was, we're gonna do lunches when we do the green sheets. So when you take attendance, you're then gonna say, if anybody in this room bring their lunch, when people raise their hands, you're gonna put no down the side column, and then you're gonna put yes for everyone else, so that we know that that is for the lunch count. Take the green paper out, take the lunch count out, and then they're gonna pick up both of them. Both is gonna finalize attendance, and then she's gonna work with me about who's not here and who we need to call to get to school. Taking a break is just that, not a broken, but a break, okay? Go to the restroom, like we tell the children, and come right back. Okay, I know that seems unfair to you, but if you throw someone's time off, then everybody in the schedule is thrown off, and then on the plus deltas, the complaint is somebody was late to my time. Okay? So, those children that we see 16 times in 1 hour that they have to use the restroom, let's use discretion. Also, we all know that when the first student walks out to use the restroom, everyone else has to use the restroom. And it is very apparent, the person that's saying, oh, you can go, your turn, you're next, you can go next. They can't do what you don't let them do, okay? First person goes to the restroom, they come back, everybody ready to go? No, let's keep moving. Then you randomly send the kids out, because a lot of them don't have to go to the restroom. They go to the whole school, they don't use the restroom. And so all of a sudden, testing out these restrooms. If it becomes a problem, we're going to come to your room, okay? In the bucket is all of these things, and I'm not going to read all of these things, but this is everything that comes in the bucket. I make sure it's there. Typically don't have an issue with it. All right, green attendance sheets. All we need, P-A, that's it.
No,
P,
she needs a signature. She came back during testing, she needs a TA signature at the top.
no, they should just fill that out for this comment. No, it's not common, because they don't sell it at Sam's. TA signature and the administrator at the top. The administrator's already there. I think you would just like to sign your roster and your attendance sheets because it just makes sense. And then just P or A. Not tardy, not in the library, not I don't know where they are. Just P or A, okay? Don't cross out anyone's name. All right, these things are pre-filled in. Everything that you see here is pre-filled in except the red part. That's what you're gonna put in on your roster. The roster is white. You're gonna put the start time for everybody, and then everybody's start time and end time at the top should be the same. We all should start at the same time, and we should end at the same time. The end times on the side is per the students, and those should be different. Okay? On the back, make sure that this seating chart, so once you fill it all out, you do everything, and you're started, put it somewhere where they can see, so when the monitors come in, they can sign in, sign out. If you go to the restroom and you come back and you notice that that person did not sign in, you might want to stop them and make sure that they do, because if something happened while you were out, you're now responsible, because I can't prove that you weren't in there. Okay? Inside the boxes, don't try to fit their names. Just put the numbers from the front roster on the back here and just number the boxes for where the students are. Okay? Testing packet is going to be in an email. I just like Sharda a lot, and so I just did make copies because I love her. All right? Following the STAAR checklist. Okay? Okay, let me go back to that part. Please don't go back to class. What that means is, please don't come down with something incorrect and you're upset because I say you have to go back. There's not a lot of time for you to erase all the things that you might have done, or erase that a kid bubbled their name or they should not have. So those things are going to be up to you, and you're going to have to go back and then by the time we will come back to you, etc. All right, checklist. If you do every single one of these things during testing, you won't have a reason for having anything incorrect, okay? There's a before testing, there's a during testing, and then you initial them as you go. And then there's an after testing. It's all on one page. It tells you exactly what to do. If you check all the answer documents and then the verifier comes behind you, you should be fine, okay? Manual time. So, I have the manuals, so when I send you this PowerPoint and I put the manuals inside of your box, you can go back to this slide and notice what pages are for what, okay? All right, there's a problem on the writing STAAR test. So anybody who's doing writing. The problem is the Spanish STAAR test has 36 questions. The regular one has 30. They didn't change the Scantrons though. So there's 36 questions bubbles on the answer document, but there's only 30 questions in the test. We have, not we, Ms. Weekly has put sticky notes on every single one of